Hi, welcome to the last video of the second module, sustainability. Today we are talking about the environmental impact. As you remember, in the previous ones we talked about the social impact of a digital project, and in the previous or yeah, in the video before we talked about economical impact. Today we are focusing on how digital projects can affect the climate or the environment, and how could we take that into consideration in our decisions in order to reduce the potential impact of our projects, right? As you know, I encourage you to take or to enroll into the circular economy course, which is also in the Green Youth Employability platform, where you can learn more about circular economy and some environmental and sustainability good practices. Okay, let's continue. The learning objective of this lesson is to comprehend how to incorporate environmental and sustainability principles into the digital solutions and services. Okay? Why is this important? Because technology has a carbon footprint, okay, and has a resources consumption, and we are using a lot cloud storage, cloud servers, and all of that. It's inside huge data centers that can have a water and energy consumption. One data center, it's like thousands of houses in terms of water and energy consumption. Okay, so it's important to take into account that it has some impacts that are quite invisible, but remotely we are affecting the resources. Okay, and it's important also to know if they are using renewable energies to power that data centers or non-renewable ones, and also depending on the cooling system that the data center or the computers inside the data center has. They can be refrigerated or cooled by water or by chemicals or by different liquids that are more efficient. So it's the cooling part in the data center. It's also key. Or if they are consuming water, or they are recirculating it, filtering it, and reusing it again in a almost closed loop with a small percentage of waste. Okay. And also we should take into account the carbon footprint of our projects, and try to reduce the impact as much as possible or compensate it when possible. Okay. As key factors in the digital project, we should take that four into account. Okay, and we should monitor them and take them into account before taking the decision, and also during the digital implementation, and then in the next years we should take all of that into account in order to try to improve them as much as possible. Okay, the main key factors or the key factors that we should take into account, it's energy consumption, uh, okay, then the water usage for cooling, as I told you in the previous slide, and then which electronic waste are we generating. Just if we are going to switch from local servers to a cloud service, and we are generating an electronic waste of the all the physical servers that we had, is it possible that we sell them to another company that can use them, or is it mandatory to migrate all of the services to the cloud, or could we keep some of them here because we already have the materials, or is it possible to add a new SSD disk in order to increase the capacity of the old computers and use them in another area or department. Okay, And also, we should take into account which material savings are we having because of the digital project implementation, like paper, bags, uh, I don't know, prototype materials that we are improving, or molds, or everything that you are saving due to digitalization some processes, or applying a digital transformation in 360 degrees inside our company. Okay, depending on the sector, you can have a lot of different material savings, because it's not the same to implement or deploy a 3D printing system for plastics, which are like changing from a molding perspective to a 3D printer, that we are reducing some materials used for creating the molds, or in other cases, in I don't know, in a legal company, we are reducing hundreds and hundreds of kilograms of paper per month that we are not consuming, because everything is digital signature. So depending on the sector, on the specific organization and company, the material savings can differ. Okay, but we should take it into account in our specific context. Regarding to the environmental impact, we should take into account some metrics or key performance indicators in order to see how it's going, and how we are affecting both positive and negative. So we should take into account at least these four indicators or metrics. The first one is the energy consumption. Okay, we can access to the bill from our electricity company, and we can download the trends and see if we are consuming more and less, and being more efficient in our resources. Then the e-waste volume and the recycling rates that we are applying, depending on the company. It's the maintenance department, or the administration department, or the operations area, or the quality and environmental team. Depending on the company, it's a different people that are in charge of tracking these volumes, and recycling them, or selling them, or having a second life for them. Okay. Then the cloud usage, we should take into account before deciding between, I don't know, Amazon Web Service, Azure from Microsoft, or other cloud providers, Google. There are several, both multinational companies and other SMEs, or small and medium companies. Which CO2 equivalents are they providing? Okay, to see which one is more environmentally friendly, and where are their data centers based. Okay, it's not the same to have a data center in, I don't know, for example, in Andalusia, in Spain, in the south of Spain, or in Algeria or Morocco, which is cooled by water, than having the data center, for example, in Finland, or having it on Iceland, on other areas where the outside temperature is lower. So they need less energy consumption in order to cool the systems, and also less water to evaporate, or to remove that heat from the computers. Okay, so it's interesting to take it into account. But as well, for example, in the south of Spain, maybe 100% of that electricity it's coming from renewable sources, and maybe the one in Algeria it's coming from oil. Okay, so we should take it into account with an holistic approach, or a system thinking approach, to take it into account the different variables in order to have the best decision. Okay, and also there are some sustainability certifications or audits that we can take into account before deciding between different cloud or service or online services providers. Okay, we can use some tools. Here are some of them to have the carbon footprint measured, or to see the life cycle assessment of a software, or which is the life expectancy of expected from a software. And then we can have some energy monitoring from the cloud providers, and also from our electricity distributor or commercializator company. Okay, and then there are some frameworks that can be used to measure the environmental impact. We should apply some strategies in order to promote how to reduce our footprint. As I told you before, in the course about circular economy from the Green Youth Employability project, you can learn more about how to calculate and which strategies you can use to reduce the footprint. Okay, but as some key points, it's important to optimize code while coding in order to be more fast, quick, efficient, and have less lines of code, to be more direct, productive, and to have just the needed features that are really used and that are providing real value. Okay, and not having other things just in case we use it in the future, or just in case we change that. Just what it's impacting your business in a positive way, and also your team, but optimize the code. Okay, and also the data usage. Sometimes we have hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes in our laptops, computers, or inside the server, which are all the documents that we are not needed, or copies, or we have the same video in 5 different computers physically. That it's important uh, to have into your mind that that data that you are having more gigabytes less, or more terabytes or less, it seems that they are in the cloud, but they are not in the cloud. So they are located in a computer or in a server remotely, and we are occupying that space, sometimes with documents that we are not needed them, and we are producing that companies increase the capacity, build more servers, build more computers, build new centers, consume more resources, just because we want to have the same video in 10 different devices. Okay, then it's important to take into account the efficiency in the computer, laptops, and devices that we use energy efficient, or A or B level in the classification. Okay, and also we can opt for virtual infrastructure if we are not going to take the maximum efficiency by having them on site. Okay, then it's important to take into account the green or sustainability practices that the cloud providers are offering, in order to evaluate which one it's better for our needs. And then it's important also to have a responsible purchasing or procurement when we are buying some consumables or some materials for our company, and encouraging recycle when possible. But first of recycle, it's important to reuse, or to sell to others, or donate to them. And recycling should be the last art to implement. Okay, and that's it for today. And this is the last lesson of the sustainability module. Okay, let's see you in the big data lessons. Thank you.